The other day, I was driving down, or this morning actually, I was driving down Broadway in Vancouver. And last night it was -2 degrees Celsius, which is just above freezing. Zero is freezing on the Celsius scale. And I think it was around 39 Fahrenheit. I don't know what the math conversion is, but I remember seeing that number. And I drove by down McDonald's there near Canby and saw this man sleeping out there, all covered up on the concrete. I don't know what he had for laying down on top of, but I know last night sleeping in my van without heat. But it's in a van and it's got an insulated floor. I got a thermarest. Hopefully that guy had something. And I had a sleeping bag and a blanket on top of me. I was staying warm, but if I didn't have food, my body wouldn't have generated heat. And it was cold. It was a cold night. Can you imagine? And I woke up in the morning, there was frost on the window of my van. And during the night, a guy walks by, and you could hear this kind of crying. I don't know if I can remember how it went, but I'm going to try an attempt to mimic it. You know, my face looks like I'm faking it because I am, but the sound was something like that, and it would come off and on, like reminds me right now as I'm talking to you about the story I heard about the Romanian what do they call those places where they put children? Daycares. And the babies were all dead quiet. You know why? Because they never got any attention. I remember reading or hearing about that story about maybe not even 10 years ago. And today, as I was thinking about this, I'm just outraged, just not outraged, but crying out. And I want to cry out now to the people of God. These people are out here, they're zombies. We're in a Holocaust. And these are people. And we treat them like dogs. And I feel like I need to prove that we're in a Holocaust. We don't really see what we're in, because you know what we are? We're Laodiceans. We're neither hot nor cold. We're lukewarm. We're like that Pharisee that walked by the man on the road to Jericho that was beat up when we pass him by. We're spoiled with our materialism. Jesus said, a man's life consisteth not in the abundance of things that he has. We're so busy do-goodering, making ourselves look good with our careers and our businesses so we don't be called worse than an infidel, while we walk by these people that are broken. It was cold last night, and I'm thankful I had a van. But I wish that I had the power to go out and help these homeless people, which I would have if the church was backing me. And what I'm trying to do here in this video is to promote the church to get in action and help these people. It's a harvest that's ripe. We can help these people. We can get them in little shelters. We can buy them sleeping bags. We can buy them thermarests. I'm trying to get to the root of the problem by dealing with the thing that's caused the homeless situation. The rising homeless situation, which is a plague that's increasing, and it's very evident in California, which has a quarter of America's homeless. Vancouver has the same thing. It's on the rise. I don't know what the numbers are, but you guys that are bean counters, you can tell what that situation is, if it's on the rise or not. I'm confident to say that it is on the rise. Look at East Hastings. These people need our help, brothers and sisters, fellow countrymen. You got to help us too. You got to help me deal with the root problem of the homelessness. I remember watching a video recently, the Sacramento mayor, he was lamenting this is the worst thing he'd want to see happen in his city. So we need to deal with the root of the problem to get rid of it. We can't band-aid patch a femoral artery laceration that's gushing blood out all over the place. And the root of the problem is there's so many things which are making these people in their situations, they're stunned, they're dazed. I remember years ago when I went to Simon Fraser University, I was studying psychology. Here's one of the things, one of the many things. A monkey was raised in a cage for 6 months, and a monkey with its mother was raised in another cage for about the same time period. I recollect it was 6 months. After the 6 months, the monkey that was raised by itself without its mother was berserk, screaming and shaking the cage, just jumping up and down, shaking things. Whereas the monkey that was raised with its mother was all sitting quiet and peaceful and calm. And that's one of the many things that is hurting our generation. We teach our children in the public schools that they come from monkeys. We're desensitizing, we're demoralizing the people. We're breaking up the homes. Recently here in British Columbia, the courts were threatening a dad because he objected or had any kind of resistance to his son or daughter, whatever it was, of wanting to be the opposite gender. This is absurd. You know, the last verse in the Old Testament, it says that God's going to turn the hearts of the fathers to the sons and the hearts of the sons to the fathers, lest he smite the earth with a curse. Vancouver's under a curse right now. San Francisco is. Los Angeles is. Wherever the homeless situation is rampant, that's a very clear indicator of a curse. Ask the mayor of Sacramento what he thinks about the rising homeless situation. I don't know what's going on in San Francisco. It looks like the politicians don't really care there. They're making it worse from what I saw in recent videos. So anyway, this is going to be posted on my Homeless Project YouTube account, and I'm going to use it, Lord willing, to encourage the church to help me get out there. These people are out there freezing. They're crying. They're crying for help, brothers and sisters. They're out freezing in the cold. I got a van. I don't have a heater, and I'm struggling. But these people are homeless. They got no place to go. And where are they going to put their sleep bag and all that stuff? You know, it just keeps growing and growing, and it becomes a mess. But more than the mess is the people that are hurting, and they need our help. They need to be loved. There's lots that we can do, and we're not doing it. The Union Gospel Mission, it's not taking care of all these people. The Salvation Army beds are full. There's people out there on the streets that we can go and reach. That guy that was crying out there that night, what do? Where can I take that guy? Put him in my van? I need help to help these people. I'm out there with them, and we need to do something. Whatever I do, whatever you empower me to do, I'm totally willing to be accountable to it. I just want to be clear in my conscience that what we're going to do is pleasing to God. And I believe it is pleasing to God to at least give them things for their immediate need. A sleeping bag, something to sleep on, so they can keep warm in the night. Something to keep them out of the water. Maybe a waterproof cover for their sleeping bag. And we can build these little houses that I was talking about earlier. This musician down in LA built all these little huts. Oh, I'd say 10 feet by 12 feet. Maybe not even that wide. This is with a door and a window and a roof on it. And man, they were so happy. I saw this one older black gentleman who was just happy as he could be. And then the city goes and impounds them. And they were nice, colorful houses because the city doesn't want these houses. That makes no sense. You'd rather have homeless out on the street, defecating on the streets, than these little houses. You're improving the homeless person's life. See, America is a land that's blessed because it's a land of liberty. Liberty is what set the people free so that they can make a living. But socialism, which is what is encroached upon California and why it's such a rampant homeless situation there, is what is causing us to die as a society.